good? Both you're good?
I'm good.
Sweet.
I'm cool, collected.
Cool. Well, let's do this thing then. So, what's up, y'all? Episode 3 gonna be the best one, in my opinion. Third time's a charm. I've got my homies Lauren and Diego. If you guys just want to introduce yourselves, say your names, and then we'll kind of get this party started.
I'm Diego.
Excellent. I'm sure they could have guessed that.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we're kind of doing this, well, we're all sort of invested in kind of what we're going to be talking about here. But basically, we've got this big trip coming up in May, and we're going to be going down to Miami. And my friend Diego here is a big part of this organization. You might say he's a crucial part of it, and Lauren as well. And the organization is called Sebastian Strong, and we're going to be kayaking the Florida Keys from Key Largo to Key West to help raise money for research that will help find new treatments specifically for kids with cancer. And there's a lot of reasons why we're going to be doing this, but Diego, could you kind of explain to us how this organization got started and why it's so important to you?
Yeah. So I'll start off by saying I don't know how crucial I am. I'd like to say we're as crucial as our next member. So every new person that joins is another driver of the impact that this foundation has. But Sebastian Strong Foundation, like you said, our goal is to raise funds for pediatric cancer research with the hope of finding less toxic and more targeted means to combat pediatric cancer. It all started with the foundation's birth. Came about as a result of one of my best friends being diagnosed with a rare form of pediatric cancer when we were in high school. His name was Sebastian. Just great guy. I mean, I think I still learn things from him after so many years. I'm sure he'd be way beyond anything I know today if he were still with us. But about 14 months after his diagnosis, he left us. But his mission continues through the foundation and through the people that his story touched, as well as the people that he left behind whom he loved. And so what we do every year is we hop in kayaks. We kayak from Key Largo to Key West, 110 miles, and with the goal to raise as much money as we possibly can, all directed towards funding pediatric cancer research.
Why kayak? What is the meaning behind doing the kayak?
So kind of picked up the idea from my high school. There's a group called Castaways Against Cancer. And so what they do every year is they kayak from Miami to Key West to raise funds. They've been doing it for, I think, over 20 years now. And so we kind of picked up their idea. What the difference is that we focus more so or specifically on funding childhood cancer prevention efforts. So only about 4% of all cancer research funds go towards childhood or provided for childhood cancer research. And so that's what we kind of separate from, because our focus is solely there. And so not that it's kind of hard to make an argument for or against research when it comes to anybody's life, but our argument is that yes, cancer research is needed in all areas, all levels, all ages. However, when you're allocating 4% of all funds to children, you talk about. I mean, I'm a numbers guy. I'm an aspiring CPA, but so my focus is, or my mindset is, if I'm investing, right, and I want a return on my investment, a child who's 10 to 20 years old, even less, you're fighting for 70 plus years of life. If we can get them to, overcome what they're enduring currently and then to live a normal life after the fact, that's our goal. So our efforts are, again, just strictly focused on childhood cancer prevention. And picked up the idea from kayaking from my high school group, from Christopher Columbus High School, from Christopher Columbus High School. They do great work, but we just had a little spin on it and just focused more so just on children and do our best to really drive home that message and carry on the good work that the foundation started.
I love it. So there's this book I've been reading, and it's pretty popular. It's been out for a while. It's a book called Outlive by Dr. Peter Attia, and he's had his own podcast for a while called The Drive. And the premise of the book is basically to not only prolong your lifespan, but also your health span. And so it's basically just trying to give you the tools to be proactive in your approach to living a healthy life. So not only can you live longer, but you can do more with the years that you have. And, it talks about staving off the 4 horsemen of death, one of them being cancer. And, there's all these habits that you can do to kind of push the needle back. And, there's certain genetic factors that you can't, really fight against, but maybe you can push back. But the thing that's so devastating about childhood cancer is it doesn't matter what health habits you do. Correct me if I'm wrong, Diego, but Sebastian ran cross country.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
See,
yeah. Animal, right? That was my understanding.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter your physical fitness level. It doesn't matter, your lifestyle habits. When you're a kid and you get cancer, there's nothing you could have done. And so I feel like, to kind of add to the argument, there's nothing you can do to combat childhood cancer outside of treatment. And when there's so little treatment out there, well, it's really frustrating and heartbreaking. And so Sebastian left us and the organization comes about. How did the organization start?
Sebastian, whether he he made his mission to continue the work that he started while he was receiving treatment. I mean, almost immediately. I can confidently say at no point in his journey with cancer did he ever waver, did he ever lose faith. His strength just doubled, tripled, quadrupled. It just got stronger and stronger with every day. And so from his day of his diagnosis, his goal was to make things different. And so his family really gathered behind him. Oscar, his father Oscar, both his brothers, his mother Rosie, his whole family, and then his friends also, we all got involved. And it's just, after his passing, his story is so strong, his impact was so incredible, profound. And once you hear his story, once you hear the heart that he had for it, it's really hard to not pick up your own torch and move forward with him in mind, with his spirit alive. And so the foundation started with him, it continues with his spirit, and it'll finish with his story. And we won't stop until the job is done, because he wouldn't have stopped. He was a runner. He would have ran the length of the earth 1 billion times if he had to change the reality for children with cancer. He would have done it for anybody, whether he was the person that was diagnosed or not. I can confidently stand here and say that if it was me or anybody else in his life, he wouldn't have stopped. And so, that's kind of what I find fire in. I'm sure that's what, from speaking with everybody, that's what drives us all is. We can't sit back and have been witness to Sebastian, and even those who hear from his story who didn't know him personally, it's hard to hear what he did, who he was, and what the foundation has accomplished. It's hard to hear the current reality that children face who are fighting cancer, and sit back and not do anything. And so it's just continued conversation, really. It's not sitting down, just kind of getting up and moving with people. And so whatever we do, whether it's kayaking, whether we pivot in the future years, which we're always just adding. I don't think we're pivoting ever. We just kind of add to our events. We add to whatever we can do to change or to inspire change. It's really just all a reflection of who Sebastian was and what his story meant and what it will continue to mean in the world today.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's very well said. And I think willpower is often super inspiring. And that for me is, so last year when this was going on, you gave me a little FaceTime call while you were paddling. And, you were kind of talking about how, the long paddles, some days you're doing 25 miles or around there. And there's some suffering in that. I mean, it's obviously beautiful. It's a privilege to be, kayaking on those beautiful waters, but it's a grind. Your back hurts. I've done some kayaking, never 25 miles in a day, but it can be tough. And so what's that?
5 days straight. Better get ready.
Right. 5 days straight. And, but there's an aspect of the shared suffering, not that it's comparable, but that kind of helps you get into the mindset and of reflection. And I remember when you were talking about it, I already knew what was going on. I mean, Lauren and I were pretty close, and you and I were pretty close already, just outside of this organization. And I had been heavily considering it, being a big adventure guy, and, this sort of paddle thing being right up my alley. But I remember when you were talking about it and just talking about, just thinking about him and his spirit and the willpower that he showed and the conviction that you had in what you were doing and that Lauren had. I mean, Lauren being a part of the road crew, let's not forget that the road crew's up before you guys are, doing all the organizing and getting everything done. But your conviction, I was already like kind of into it, but I was like, two things. One, the conviction that you guys both had for it was super inspiring. And also, I knew that if I committed to this, I would get to be with you guys, and hang out some more. But you both, we not to sidetrack, but you've got the Gear Up for Autism thing going on. You both do things year round, that are for other people. Like, you guys are always doing something, and by always, every month, every couple of months, stuff comes up, and you guys are helping people out. There's some sort of cause you guys are always working for. And so for me, not only am I inspired by Sebastian's story, but I am inspired by what you guys do in real time. And so that's even more of the driving factor with me, is I just want to be involved in stuff that you guys are in, because I know how good it, and I don't believe that people are good. I believe they do good. And so you guys do good things. You guys walk the walk. And so I think you guys yourselves are really inspiring, in that the spirit of Sebastian is definitely strong in you both. If what you have described to me, because I never had the privilege, but if what you described to me as his spirit is true, and I believe it is, I think you guys do a really good job of embodying that. And so that is personally why I'm so invested, is because you guys are so invested and so driven and so committed. And so when we were talking on that FaceTime last year, and I told you, I was like, hey, I'm going to do this, I really wanted to be, I really wanted to make sure that I followed through with the commitment. And so I'm so glad that we're here now. I bought my plane ticket the other day, on Tuesday. And so
no choice but to follow through.
Yes, exactly. And well, that's so my wife and I were talking the other day, and like she's been super supportive, and she obviously wishes that she was going to be there, but it was just going to be too much with our little June bug. But we were talking the other night, and she was like, it was just kind of hitting her. She was like, yo, like, you have to cover a lot if you don't raise this money. And I was like, I know, but like, sometimes you just have to put yourself in that situation. It's like, I have no choice. Like, I have to do this. And obviously it's like a bit of a risk, but like, there's never a good time. There's never a good time to get involved with, you know, something as intense as this. There's always going to be an excuse not to. So I was like, well, look, next year, like, what if we have a 1-year-old and you're pregnant? Or, there's always any sort of scenario where it could be inconvenient. And that's like, I mean, that's part of the sacrifice. So Lauren, did you know Sebastian? I can't remember.
So we grew up in the same neighborhood, and
Okay.
I've seen him, might have spoken to him once or twice, but I
Mhm.
didn't fully know him. And when Diego was friends with him, I didn't ever get the chance to meet him, because we started dating the end of your freshman year. And then when was he diagnosed with cancer?
The summer going into, or the
That summer?
beginning of our sophomore year.
Yeah. So I didn't even have a chance to meet him, and then he was going like through treatments and all of that. So I more so got involved and like really just fell in love with his family, and Diego was, a big part of that when everything happened, when he was diagnosed, when he went through the whole process, when he passed away. I was there for all of that with Diego. And
Mm.
then, obviously with that being super important to him, it became important to me. And then once I met his family and like we started getting involved in everything, it was just done deal. I was in it for the long run.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I did Snapchat him though. I do have a Snapchat picture, and I probably could find it. But it's basically a picture of Diego in high school, and it's like half of Sebastian's face, and it has a heart around Diego's face, and it says cutie. And he sent that to me, and that was like when we had just started dating. So
Cute.
that's something that I cherish. That is something that he had sent to me.
Sure. Yeah, a shared interest to say the least.
Exactly.
Well, so how long ago was that then?
Oh wait, hold on.
'Cause-
Sorry, I found it.
oh my gosh. Nice.
Anyways,
That's great. So wait, so how long ago was all this?
2015.
So it was 9 years ago.
9 years ago when he was diagnosed, and then it was December of 2016 when he passed away.
Okay, so this is not, so now this has been happening for a while. And so Oscar, you had mentioned that name earlier, Diego's father.
No.
What was
Sebastian's
Sebastian's father. Sebastian's father, my bad.
Second.
Father-like figure, we can say.
Yes, definitely a father figure. Well, okay, and so before I even say what I was going to say, sorry to tangent so many times, but another reason that I think people need to know how, because Diego, I think you're being a little modest when you were talking about how important you are to this organization. So Oscar, Sebastian's father, when we had our last Zoom meeting, said that he trusted you implicitly. And I think it's important that we define implicitly real quick.
Did you write it down when he said that?
No, but it stuck with me. Essential or very closely connected with, always to be found in. And so I think that speaks volumes when your best friend's father trusts you implicitly with the organization that is founded in his name. That's not something I know. I don't know Oscar very well, but that's not something a father who had a child who passed away from cancer would say lightly. And when he said that, because I already have love for you both, obviously, but when he said that, I was like, wow, like the mantle of responsibility rests on your shoulders, and that's such an amazing honor, I feel like, to have someone like that say that to you. And so that I was getting hyped when he said that. I got hyped. I was like, oh man, like this is like a ride or die crew, and like it really is. And like I don't want to say like I'm an outsider, because obviously I know you both really well, but like Ryan's in there, and it's your brother, and like that's the squad we're rolling with. I'm like, okay, like this is legit. These are the homies. What's that?
I think we're all just pumped. This will be our 4th year on the trip, and every year we've had people join, people not commit for another year, which is fine. I mean, it could,
Sure.
at any point, I mean, you're a member for life, whether you're in the boat, on the road, regardless, you're called to be sent, which is called to send, whatever point in life you are in, that's fine. This
Mhm.
year's really cool because you're joining, my older brother Douglas is joining, my my one of my new best friends, Ryan, which is
Explain that.
so yeah, side note. Ryan was my first and only college roommate. We shared a room but his birthday is the same as Sebastian's, which is May 10th, and
It's crazy.
just a great guy. Very similar qualities.
I was about to say, you said they share similar qualities,
Yeah,
which is a great thing.
yeah. And so it's kind of when I went to college, I left. We left Florida to go to college. I get there, we don't really know anybody. Kind of the first person I meet is Ryan. It's kind of Sebastian looking over me. Ryan's still in my life, will continue to be in my life, whether he likes it or not.
And Ryan had reached out to you to be a roommate.
Ryan did, yeah. It was kind of
So.
just. It wasn't
That was
necessarily fate. I think there was. Well, I'm confident there was some works behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Confident Sebastian was doing some stuff like he always is. But it's just really cool this year. We got so many people near and dear to my heart joining the team, close to our heart, and so it's really just. It's one thing to ask people to join a cause and for them to answer that call. It's another thing for them to be witness to that mission and make the call themselves. And so, Jake, like, I never asked you to get in a boat and kayak. You were kind of already like, I'm doing it, and we're like, yeah, come on. Same with Douglas, same with Ryan, same with pretty much everyone else on the trip right now. You have all answered the call on your own as a result of being exposed to the story. And so it's cool to be a part of that. It's cool to have people that you love want to be a part of something that is near and dear to your heart. It just adds another layer of just excitement and passion for what we're going to be doing this, in 3 weeks from now?
3 weeks, I'm so excited.
Come on.
Yeah, come on, right? Let's just go.
You're not an outsider, dude.
You're not
like,
at all.
You may not be an outsider to us, but now you are a part of the Sebastian Strong family. You're in it, dude. Like you, Tay, little baby girl, we're all in it.
Also,
Well,
I have a side note.
please.
This is just funny, but last year on the kayaking trip, I was like crouching down on the beach as Diego is taking off, getting ready to take some pictures, and my phone starts ringing.
Yep, I
And
know
I
where
was
this is
like,
going.
who is calling me right now? And it was Jake's wife, Tay, FaceTiming me. I answered the FaceTime call, and she is like, hand on her mouth, showing me her pregnancy test.
Yep.
First person she told she was pregnant, and I'm screaming on the beach to Diego, I'm like, Tay is pregnant!
Yeah, you both knew before I did.
I know, and then she was asking me how to like break it to you, and we kind of like brainstormed a little bit, but I was just so honored, and I'll never forget that. Yes, there's my face. The blue sky.
Pray for blue skies.
Yes. But yeah, that's just a really cool moment, and it's so cool that like that happened. Yes, me. It's so cool that happened on this trip, and now you're gonna be a part of it, and your little Junie bug is here.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Geez, how much has happened this past year.
Yeah.
It's really outrageous in all the best ways. Yeah, I was gonna bring that story up if you didn't, because it's just too good. But yeah, so there is a lot of emotion tied into this trip already for me, and so I'm just over the moon. Where I wanted to get though was, so Oscar, when does he quit his job and kind of make this his full-time deal?
Specifics, I don't know. I know he always preaches about how grateful and in debt he is to the company he worked for.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to spend a lot of time with Sebastian
Mm-hmm.
and really just be there for him as a father and love on him and just be present. And he never lost his job. I mean, he promised that he would make up for it in the future, and Um, just blank. But yes, he always preaches on how grateful he was to the company that he worked in. He was
He was an accountant.
to be able to be around Sebastian as much as he was, and so just kind of soon after Sebastian's death, he went back to repay that debt that he spoke on so many times. And I think from Sebastian's diagnosis, his spark was lit, obviously, as any parent would have. After Sebastian's passing, his fire continued, and he made it his life mission to devote everything he could to this. And so he is now full time with the foundation. He lives, breathes, eats,
Yeah.
does whatever he can to make $1 for this foundation because it means everything to him. It's Sebastian, and he won't stop fighting for his son. He won't stop fighting for his family, and that's truly such a great man to emulate and to have in my corner and have in all of our lives. I think it's really just amazing to bear witness to him and who he is and what he does. He'll probably slap me for saying all this when he sees me, but he really just wears his heart on his sleeve and won't back down from a single conversation to whoever it is. And he's aggressive, but he'll love you through that aggression. Yeah. I couldn't ask for anybody else to share these moments with. He's just a great guy, but yes,
I feel like probably a couple years ago, right? Is when he transitioned to full time. Somewhat recently.
Probably around when we first started kayaking ourselves. I would say within the last 4 years.
2, 3, yeah.
And so probably works more than he did when he was in corporate America. It's his life. He kind of you wake up, you go to sleep doing the same thing, but
sure,
he loves it. I mean,
good.
We all hate it. We hate why we have to do this. We hate why.
Of course.
But we love doing it because
it's the reality.
We all have our own reasons, but ultimately we love doing it because it's change that's needed. And
sure. Well, and cancer in general is like the great unsolvable problem right now. It's like where modern medicine has like failed so far. Yeah. And, specifically, treatment for kids with cancer, it just having so little funding and so few treatments. Kids are just like this. They're just unlimited potential, right? I mean, like there's no limit to what a kid can become. And so to have that taken from a child is just untapped future. It's incredibly heartbreaking, and so it's a fight that needs to be fought. So obviously we hate the fact that it exists, but it's something that we're choosing to do, right? And so we get to do it. It's like it's the fight we're choosing to take on. And so in that sense there's the love for it because you want to be part of the solution, right?
We've been blessed with able bodies, able minds, strong wills. So I kind of do my best every year to kind of reflect on and see why, or re-reflect on why I do this. And obviously Sebastian's number one. I think this will be my third time getting in the water as an uncle, maybe second time. Second time. And so since being an uncle, I realized, well, I don't really just do I don't kayak. I don't partake in any event that Sebastian Strong does simply because of the people in my life right now, or who have been in my life. I do it because, or add on an extra layer, I do it for those who I don't know yet. So my future kids, you're a very recent father, and you're learning about the joys of being a father in your first year. So there's far more ahead of you, and there's far more ahead for me, hopefully, to have children in the future. But with the knowledge I have now, I don't want to wait till the future for, God forbid, one of my children is diagnosed with the same thing. I don't like my way, the beginning of my story for protecting them doesn't start then.
Right.
I've been educated now.
Yes.
So I'm
well said.
We're all called to answer this call to start that mission now, because we're educated. And every conversation we have spreads that education. And once you hear it, you can choose to ignore it and wait till you are hit personally by it, or to answer that call now and to be able to say to yourself in the future, I've done everything that I can. I've answered every call, because then it's out of your hands. You can rest assured knowing that you've done everything. And I don't think any of us strive to live in fear, but a good solution, a good reaction to fear is action itself. And so if you can act against fear, you kind of take its power away. So I'm further motivated by my drive to protect those who I don't know yet, who may not exist yet, but the future is unknown. So the only way we can change it is by acting today.
Right. Well, how good can you make it? Right. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
We're in the light, but there's darkness all around us. So the only way to learn is to go into the darkness. You know, so it's
right. Yeah. You take the light and you explore the dark, and you never know what you find. Yeah. That's very true. So, Lauren, from a road crew perspective, what are those days kind of like? Because I haven't done this yet, so I don't really know. So, what are you guys getting up to?
Depends on the day, but for the most part, in the morning, just getting everything ready, going down and getting whoever needs snacks or coffee or whatever it is, and then helping the kayakers kind of just like set up their boats, make sure they have all their ice and their water and their food for the day. We also go and get pub subs for everyone for the next.
I was waiting for you to bring up the pub sub. That's so funny.
So
custom orders.
And I order them myself.
So for Ohio people, what's a pub sub?
Okay.
Do you know what Publix is?
Do they have Publix in Ohio?
They don't have Publix here. That's why I'm asking.
But you know what?
I know what it is. I know what it is.
Oh, for our audience.
Which grocery stores are there in Ohio?
We've got Kroger and Giant Eagle and
there's Subway.
Yeah, there's Subway.
If Subway's here, Publix is through the roof.
Yeah. It's basically, Publix is a very nice grocery store. Not like expensive wise, but it's just a nice grocery store. And they have a sub section, and the subs are just very fresh and delicious. So they're also very well known for their chicken tender sub. But no one really gets that on the water because that's kind of gross.
For those of you who are listening, if you don't know, you can join next year.
And
Kayak with us, raise money, and then you'll get a free Publix sub every day you're on the water.
5 free Publix subs.
So,
well sold.
$35.
Click that.
Okay. Yes. So
that's a perfect clip.
Yes. So that is one of the things that we do. We usually do that the day before, and then we'll pick them up and have that ready for the morning. But then once the kayakers kind of like set sail, then we just pick up whatever is left on the beach, go back to the rooms, and then usually the kayakers have like packed up all their stuff, but then we go ahead and take it to all the cars. Usually we have a few extra cars, so we're like each person on the road crew is driving one to transport it to the next location. So then once that happens, then we just go ahead to wherever we're going next, check in, get situated. A lot of the times there's like other things like laundry, going to the grocery store again just to get more snacks and ice and stuff like that. And then also just connecting with different like partners. A lot of the times these hotels are generous enough to give us rooms and things like that. So making sure that we're, thanking them and talking to them and sharing like photos and videos and doing all that kind of stuff. And then we do usually have a couple hours where we can spend, posting things on social media, trying to fundraise a little bit extra, calling people. I know Diego's mom sends out a bunch of texts every single time that they hit the water.
So many texts.
But yeah, and then yeah, it's a lot of just moving things around, making sure everyone's stuff is situated, because that's something that before I was on the road crew, I didn't really think about that. Like the kayakers leave and then all their stuff has to get moved. But yeah, just kind of like food, snacks, laundry, and moving stuff.
Kayakers could not do what we do without our road crew. So every person in a kayak is going to survive or not this week by the people who are behind the scenes. And so recognition is deserved, very much so, for everyone on the road crew, because they're not really in the line, they're not really in the light. They're the ones behind the cameras. They're the ones
Literally
taking care of us. You know, the water, the nature is going to beat you up, Jake. It's going to be
You're gonna love it.
hard. It's going to be so much fun.
Dude, I love when nature beats me up.
Well, I guess an added layer, at least for me, is just I also then like that's the time that I'll edit pictures and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so can we talk about that a little bit? So
Yeah.
you have your own photography situation. I feel like it's been ramping up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, plug it real quick. So what's it called?
Lauren Ashley Photography.
Nice.
2 Y's at the end on Instagram.
Nice. 2 Y's at the end. Saw some awesome UNC grad photos that were looking sharp. So are you is that like really your focus obviously you do all the things that you said, but are you kind of more photography and videography when you're doing stuff? Because that is definitely your strong suit. I can speak to that.
I would I would say that that's my primary focus. Like if there's other stuff going on, but something needs to be photographed, like sorry, I'm getting this moment.
Mhm.
But when I'm not photographing, so I'm only photographing when you guys are around, basically.
Mhm.
So during the rest of the day, then I'm pretty much equally doing all the road crew things and whatever's needed. And then whenever we find that downtime where, Rosie and Robin and whoever else is sending out stuff and promoting, I also try to do that myself, but then that's another time that I'll try and go through and edit the pictures. We have another guy on the road crew named David, which I'm not sure if he's joining this year, but last year he did, and he did a lot of videos that were awesome. And so he wasn't there for the whole trip, but like if he's not there, then that's also the time where I'll just like throw some videos together. That way the our social media coordinator Jasmine can like post something that day of kind of like a recap, because I feel like that's what really helps people to just kind of keep on track with the trip and see what's going on and feel more involved in it. But yeah.
Sure. So I got a GoPro a couple weeks ago, which I'll obviously be bringing. I know Diego got that sick manatee footage last
You need
year.
a mount. You need a good mount.
Yeah, I'll get a mount for sure. But the originally why I got it is because actually it's good for long form podcasts, because you can just like let it roll and it's fairly high quality. But when I was getting it, I was like, I'm also bringing it on the trip because it's going to be money. But yeah, so well, cool. I figured you did more of the photography stuff, but I'd also been seeing your Instagram specifically for the photography. So are you trying to do more of that stuff now? Nice.
Trying to fill it up.
Very
I'm trying
good.
to get more into like weddings.
That's the move.
Yeah. But that'll happen as time comes. I am going to be doing some like second shooting, which is basically you're like a backup shooter, just to get some experience. And then, hopefully from there it kind of just rolls. But I've been having a lot of senior photo sessions, so that's been really fun.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
You saw I did Hallie's.
I saw that. Yeah, they look great. I miss all those girls. That was a good time. Okay, cool. So now, so as far as the fundraising aspect goes, we started our accounts recently, and like I'm like sweating bullets. I'm like, okay, gotta get this money, and like everyone else is chill except for Oscar. Everyone else is chilling. I'm like, do you guys know something that I don't know?
You guys know your credit cards?
I was like, do you guys have some sort of secret knowledge that I don't have? Like, what is happening? So Diego, when you're on the water, like obviously we're fairly close to land, even though we're paddling a long time, and there's like reasonable service. Like, are you pushing for donations while you're on the water? I'm just trying to like strategize for
Probably the
myself.
best time to do it. I mean,
That's what I figured.
I mean, yes, there's any time's a good time to try to get someone involved, I will say. But when you can bring someone into what you're experiencing and speak to it in real time,
Mm-hmm.
that I mean, I don't necessarily call. I mean, I think Oscar has a different perspective. Like, he calls people demanding, like, "Come on, dude! I'm out here kayaking 110 miles. You can donate $20, right?" And every person donates $20. We're gonna raise a ton of money. But my perspective is, yes, I want everyone to financially support this mission because it's near and dear to my heart. I wouldn't ask you to extend finances to something that I didn't think was worth it.
Of course.
But when I call people on the water, my reason for doing so is to, you're out there, dude. You're alone. Like, we are in a group, but every good, every bad, every thought in general is gonna run through your head.
Mm-hmm.
So water to us growing up in Florida is a healing source. Like, whenever we were sick, we'd go to the beach. We would let the salt water heal us, you know. So I think that kind of definitely carries over because you're literally in a kayak in the middle of the ocean. So it's healing you in many ways.
Smoothing out the rough edges.
Right. And so in that, like, you're gonna think about things. It's gonna get emotional. You're gonna be thinking about people in your life. At least specifically for me, that's where my head goes a lot. The people that have been put in my life, people that have come into my life unexpectedly, they run through my head. So what I like to do is, as the specific individuals pop in my head, I like to give them a call and explain what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and that when I'm out there, I think about Sebastian. I think about the time that I lost. Think about time that we all lost, the experiences he never had that we're getting to experience now, and I wish things were different. But in that, I am also reminded of the time I did have with him and the experiences we shared and the conversations we had. And I think about the people that have entered my life since then, or who are still in my life from that point in time. And I want to share that with them. I want them to know how much I love them. I want them to know that I'm here for them. I'm grateful for them. And I'm thinking about them out there on the water. And I think, if anything, we can learn that we're not promised tomorrow. And so why not spend a few seconds letting the people who you care about know? That's really my focus. And so, yes, there is the drive to raise money. Yes, I will say, like, that is the focus, but you're going to understand a whole lot more that when you are fundraising, it's really not. I mean, yes, there's a credit card. Yes, there's the bill that we each have to pay at the end of this if we don't meet our quota, but it's not so much like I have to raise this money because I don't want to pay it. It's because, well, I love this, and
Right. 100% agree.
yeah, and I want you to be a part of this. And so
For sure.
we all have a call, and that's kind of what it is, man. And my only pointer I guess I could give is just speak from the heart when you do that with everything you do. So I don't really think it's much of a pointer, but when you speak from the heart about something that means a lot to you, there's gonna be people that listen, and there's people that don't. The people that don't, we're never gonna listen anyways. But hopefully down the line, we're planting seeds, and that seed will grow into something bigger for them, and they'll be a part of it later. But the people that do listen are gonna listen, and they're gonna be called on their own to be a part of it and join the cause. So speak your heart and just do what you do anyways.
I think you could also, like, you probably could do some sort of little podcast out on the water, like a
I
mini
thought
version.
about that.
You could take your GoPro
And
and
just
like,
rip one. And
yeah,
just like,
Ryan
oh.
next to you, just be like, "Yo, Ryan." And you just start asking questions, or if you guys are at a sandbar, and then you can like take little clips of it, and each day post a few of the questions.
Sure.
You could go
Yeah,
live on
that'd be great.
Instagram. That would actually be really cool.
Be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. here's me crushing this pub sub.
Yeah, you can make it funny, that'd be awesome.
FedEx lunch.
I need daily vlogs from you, Jake.
Oh, it's gonna happen. I mean, like, I'll definitely. I mean, so I think I'd mentioned this maybe last year, but I've kayaked a handful of times, but I did do one long trip. It was part of a longer 3-week trip, and we ended up kayaking 9 days. It was supposed to be 10 days, but we got done sooner, and we kayaked the south side of the Outer Banks, but it was sick. But it was nowhere near.
How many miles is that?
I have zero recollection. And you are kidding yourself if you think when I was 21, I was paying attention to how far we were going.
Out there,
He's just like sick.
Yeah, I was like down. I mean, some days I think like the shortest paddle was only like 4 miles one of the days. Like it was like pretty quick. But I don't know, we might have done like 10 miles or something like that a couple of days. I really don't know. I enjoyed it so much. Like, got your bucket hat on when you get hot, fill your bucket hat up with water and dump it on your head. Like it's the move. And so
I'll warn you, there's points where we go 10 miles in a stretch.
I'm here for it.
I know it's gonna be great, but you ever heard of long key?
It's long.
Well, you're gonna learn why they call it long key because it's long. Dude, we don't stop. I think it's a 10-mile stretch. You in a kayak, so
let's go.
Start stretching, man.
Seriously, I know. Well, what did I do the other day? Oh, I was dude, Diego, you're gonna be disappointed. I was just like being sloppy with some deadlifts the other day, and I know it's embarrassing, but I didn't like, nothing happened while I was deadlifting, but when I got home later, I was like, oh, dude, you were reckless. And that was just, when was that? That was Saturday. Today's Thursday. So I'm feeling a lot better now, but in my head I was like, okay, you cannot be fooling around. We're getting closer and closer to this trip. Do your stretches, do your low back strengthening exercises. Like, you got to get yourself ready for this. Yeah, I probably won't do anything too crazy, but still got to make sure I'm not hurting myself. Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, whether I hurt or not.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, that's so funny. So what, you said every year's different. What are you hoping to accomplish this year that you haven't in other years? Like, are there more events? Like, because I know is there like a starting event? Like, I'm not even certain exactly what's going to be happening.
Well, I think there's a few events throughout the year that we do.
Okay.
One's a 5K.
Right.
Being a cross-country runner, it's very up his alley. But he would be running 50K by the time I run a 1K. So
probably.
Yeah, he'd kill me.
Yeah.
But that's one thing. We have a gala. Before this kayaking trip, I think it's actually not this weekend. I think it's next weekend. If anyone's in Miami, hit us up. We'll give you the details. But we have a little event at a brewery called the Tank Brewery, where we have a private event. Just come in, get you some drinks, get you some food.
The food is so good.
Yeah, good vibes. It's just a chance for us to get the ball rolling, get people, kind of bring people up to speed with what we're doing, why we're doing it. A few weeks out from when we actually kayak, so there's some time for that to fester, kind of give people a heads up. And then is it May 13th we hit the water?
Mm-hmm.
So May 13th to May 17th,
yeah.
You can find half of us on the water and half of us on the road crew.
On the land.
Yeah, those are our big events. I think recently we had a pickleball tournament, which is really cool. I mean, that's the new fad. So being able to kind of bring efforts into whatever is new and hip.
Yeah.
It's cool. Sebastian Strong is really, there are really no lengths we won't go to stir change. I mean, Oscar will bid off give rights to the highest bidder to shave off his beard.
Yeah.
And it's kind
Which is an epic beard, by the way.
Yeah, no, he can grow a big old thing. It's really cool to see him do that. Yeah. We do it all. I mean, whatever we can do, wherever we're called, wherever we're sent, and by we I mean literally every single human being on this earth.
Yeah.
We can all be a part of it through Sebastian Strong or a group effort. But kayaking is one of our bigger events for the year, and our goal is to raise enough money to fund our next um, research study. I guess is the term.
Yeah, so let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So there's a team of doctors, right, that helps determine where the research goes. How did that come about? Do you know any of the doctors? And then we'll go from there.
I personally don't. It came about. So Oscar worked in the accounting industry as I do, and so the focus on that was kind of let's handle this like a business. So there can't be someone handling the funds and allocating where those funds go. There has to be a logical progression of where the funds come from and where they go. And someone who has never had any experience in medicine should not be the one deciding where those funds go, because it's not a proper use. It's not, we're not using the money appropriately if we are just throwing darts at the wall. So the premise behind that is, well, we will do all we can to raise money, and obviously we will learn along the way. We will become more educated in terminology that we wouldn't have had we never been a part of this. But we will not be the ones making the final shots. So Oscar, Rosie are not the ones sending out the money. They share their story. They are very present and a huge part of the foundation. Speak really the heartbeat behind what we're doing. But there is a group of doctors that we take the funds to, and they say, okay, well, we have these options. This is what we're looking at. This is where we think there's positive trends in. This study has seen more potential recently. We think we should go this route. And so then Oscar's like, all right, cool. He learns about it, and then we go and do that. But
very cool.
At no point in Sebastian Strong's history so far or going forward will any single dollar be left unaccounted for. Every single dollar donated will be collected, recorded, and appropriately dispersed to the research study picked by our group of doctors. And I promise you, we will always make sure that, down to the penny even, that every dollar is being spent on what we say it's being spent on.
Yeah. They donated a large amount to some research projects recently.
Yeah.
And they're very public about that too, posting that on Instagram, like, with the big checks, handing it over, shows the amount. So
yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
It's super important. That was information I believed I learned last year, maybe before you left, maybe after you left, it doesn't matter. But that was another reason why I was really gung-ho, because I knew every dollar was accounted for. I knew because it's you guys. Again, like, it kind of boils back to, it's Lauren, Diego, and Oscar. It's these people who I know are going to make sure that these things are done right. And so it comes back to that implicit trust sort of thing. Like, Oscar implicitly trusts you, and because of that, and just also the things you guys do, I also feel that way. And I also got to know you before I even knew you did this. And so I knew the caliber of people that you both are and were and will continue to be. But that just makes it makes it all worth it. It's like, I know I'm doing a good thing. And another reason I'm doing this, I'll share, is and so I'm a little bit guilty. I've got some guilt on my conscience. And so when LP, you'll remember this, when we did, thank you, the Trailblaze Challenge for Make-A-Wish, we were given a minimum to hit of $2,000. However, if I didn't hit it, then Orange Theory, or maybe it wasn't Orange Theory, I think it was our franchise at the time, would cover the rest. And so I can't remember how far I got. It was like 1,000 some change. maybe 1,200 or 1,500. But the other girl who did it for our studio raised like 5,000 or 6,000 and just like crushed the goal. And I was just kind of like, sweet, like she kind of did it. Like the studio won't have to cover. And I kind of just like petered out on my fundraising. And, I kind of wanted to come clean with that because I've just got I've had that weighing on me since it happened. And, Make-A-Wish is awesome, and it provides those kids who are going through what we're trying to prevent an experience, once in a lifetime experience, before they pass. Maybe they don't pass, hopefully, but typically that's when that happens. And because I knew that that lady had done that, and even if she hadn't, I just kind of relied on the safety net. And afterwards, because that was it was like 26 point whatever miles, but they rerouted it and it was 27 and some change. And while it was happening, and so it's a long trek, and while I was doing that, I was just like, that reflection started sitting in, and I was like, you know what you didn't do? It's like, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, and now you're just kind of doing this thing, and you posted about it, and you raised some money, and it's not I didn't fly anywhere, so like cost wise it was still beneficial, but you still didn't do what you said you were going to do, and you just kind of gave up because you were lazy. And I just like, it just sucks. And so I've kind of got this chip on my shoulder now, and and that's a big part of wanting to make sure I do that. I'm not looking for atonement or like for forgiveness or anything, but it's like I want to make sure, like I said, good is not a thing you are, it's a thing you do. And I want to make sure that I'm someone who, lives up to what they say they're going to do. And most of the time I do. And even at the time, I'd say 9 times out of 10, but that time was just not one of those times. And so I've got a bit of a chip on my shoulder, and, want to demonstrate that, yep, like that I'm someone who does what they say they're going to. And so I definitely wanted to come clean with that a little bit as well.
Great. Well, we'll put you down for 20K this year.
Yes, thank you. Exactly. Some redemption funds.
I think it's easy to obviously get caught up in the how much are we raising? Oh my gosh, Jake raised 12K, I raised 9K, my goal was 10K. Why did I do this? And I think the effort in creating kind of a minimum per kayaker to be on the water, which for those of you watching, like, we've kind of opened it up to have day paddlers. So there's a fee that day paddlers can commit to. I think it's $2,500.
Something like that.
But check the website. But for those of us who are kayaking the full week, each of our individual goals is to raise $10,000. And if we don't, they have our credit card information. They will charge us the difference of what we don't raise. But I think it's not like you say you have a chip on your shoulder, Jake. I think you being out there at all is enough.
Mm-hmm.
None of it, like, whether a single dollar is raised or not, your heart is out there for the right reasons. You're out there trying to make change, and you've been put in a position to be a part of something different. I mean, how many people can say they've kayaked from Key Largo to Key West, 110 miles for 5 days?
Yeah. No one.
Not many.
Yeah.
No, it's very much an adventure. I'm so excited.
Exactly. And so raising is obviously why we do it. There's no point in us being out there for not raising money, but don't question your heart, because you've already answered the call. You're ready to do it. And the money will come, I promise.
For sure. And I'm not worried about covering what, and I think I said this on the last Zoom, but I just want to mostly do right by you and Oscar. Like, and so it's not even so much like, because I'm determined. I'm not so much worried that I'm not going to. I just want to make sure that, like, like you're welcoming me into this thing, and I want to do right by you guys. I mean, like, you guys are all committed to doing the same thing I am, and like I said, Oscar trusts you implicitly, and like I plan on living up to that trust as well that you're bestowing in me to even be a part of this journey. And so it's more so just living up to the expectation of people whose opinion I value and who I think do good things and are good people. And so that's kind of what I'm more concerned about, is just, making sure that I demonstrate that, I came to play and came to win with regards to making sure that this organization, gets some funding, and also, just to be surrounded by the good vibes and the good people. And, I'm just here for it. It's going to be sick.
Effort.
It's just effort. That's such a good way to put it. It's simple. It doesn't make it easy.
No,
But it's simply put, it's just effort. If you're willing to put it in, it will happen.
I can say it. I can speak it all I want. It's like I say, love is action. And so if I love the cause I'm working for, I'm gonna put my body on the line, do what I got to do to make it happen. It's gonna be pretty special, man.
Yeah.
You're pumped now, but I promise you, I wish everyone could hop in a boat and experience
So
this, and I hope
excited.
everyone does. I hope we have 100 kayakers out there with boats following us all the way down.
Yeah, why not?
But right now we start with the few, and we become the many.
Yeah, the Marines. No, but so there's this thing I say to, a couple of my buddies when we're talking, like, whenever if we're discussing like a problem, like if they've got something going on in their life, and sometimes what I'll say is like, what are you gonna do? Not get through it? Like,
We gonna do sink? I mean, you're in the middle of the
yeah, you think you like, is it an option for you? Yeah, like, is it an option for you to not get through it? And well, if the answer is like, no, it's not an option, well, it's like, well, then we're good. We're great.
You
go.
were about to say something else.
I was not going to say something else.
podcast.
What do you think
Shut
I was
up.
going to say?
I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, okay. I really wasn't. Was it like a dirty word?
No, it's just a
Cut
it's a
that,
cuss
cut
word.
Oh, okay. I'll say cuss words. We can swear on this podcast. That's
Oh,
okay.
Whatever.
But yeah, like, or like when, what were you gonna say, Diego?
I'm getting you back on your story. What do you do? Not do it? If you have
Right,
to?
exactly. Yeah, it's not an option. Or like sometimes, like, you can get caught up. And I'll say this with my buddy Sean a lot. Like, you can kind of get caught up just in whatever it is that you're doing, and like, you look around, you're like, are you done? Like, is this the finish line? Are you done right now? And it's like, no, of course not. Like, you can't be. Like, the show goes on. And so, in the show New Girl, there's this funny part where the character Schmidt in one of the episodes, I can't remember who's talking to him, but he's like, take a look around. This can't be the finish line. And it's a funny line, but I think about it a lot. It's like, no, like, this is not the finish line. Like, you're not done. And if it's not, and it's not an option to not get through it. And so it's like, you can say things that are simple, that are true. That doesn't mean it's not going to be difficult. But if you don't care about how difficult it is, if the end outcome is more important than the effort that goes into it, well, then, yeah, it's just effort, like you said.
You don't have to be the person getting in a kayak for it to qualify as effort.
100%. 100%.
With road crew, effort is sitting on your couch sending me $20. I mean,
Right.
being a part of it at any level is effort.
Mhm.
But speaking even conversation is effort. I mean, to be transparent
This is
and
exhausting.
to
I
share your
think.
heart. I mean, yeah, Jake, I'm gonna go fall asleep right after this. Catch me tomorrow. But what I was gonna say there. But yeah, dude, effort is different depending on who you're looking at, but the finish line is still the finish line. So whatever it takes for you to get there, it might look different for me, it might look different for you, but
Right.
we're getting there, and it's not necessarily just my journey. My goal is not to land in QS on Friday alone. So
Sure.
whether your back goes out, whether I get bit by a shark, whatever's happening, we're all getting there. It's
Yeah,
our journey together
for
to
sure. The
prove
shark
it.
would be so lucky to eat us, dude.
I feel like
We'll lasso that shark.
if
We would
that
be a
happened,
delicacy
Jake
for
would
a
be like,
shark.
it was sick.
Dude, I'll
You're gonna see stuff, man. It's
shark.
manatees, sharks, dolphins, jumping up, stingrays, all of the above.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Super.
I do an awesome dolphin impression.
Yeah,
Do it.
I look forward.
Effort. Yeah. You would do randomly.
calm.
That's what you would do randomly in the office when you were bored. You remember that?
I was telling that to someone earlier. I can't remember who. I was like, I just used to do that while I was working for some reason, like some Tourette's sort of situation.
And then I would just giggle out in the lobby.
Yeah, you would try not to.
It never worked.
Well, yeah, it's like,
dolphins.
what'd you say?
We'll need it this trip so you can call it dolphins because they're I'd rather have dolphins roaming than sharks.
I've got a sick Aquaman shirt, so that might help with that. Since he
Bring it
talks
out,
to
man.
fish.
Go.
So I guess so this is Fowler and Friends. A little bit of background as far as how I know Lauren and Diego. Lauren, I met first in January of 2022.
Jeez.
Yuck. That was over 2 years ago. And we worked at Orange Theory together, and we eventually got pretty close, partially because Lauren was super hip with the TikTok trends at the time and kind of got full reign of our social media. And I don't have a TikTok, still don't, and had no knowledge of TikToks, but she would just tell me to do stupid stuff that were like TikTok trends.
You were willing to do it.
And I'm so down. I was so down.
Yeah.
And so we got to have a lot of fun doing that. And we did that for, over a year. It's probably like close to a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And then so through Lauren, met Diego, and Diego took a couple Orange Theory classes, and then we started hanging out outside the studio, and then we started hanging out outside the studio a lot more, and then you guys came to our apartment a couple times, and
What was our first story? You remember our first story?
With the Jello shot? Is that what you're talking about?
I have no recollection.
No, it was the after.
I don't know what that was.
After hour shower after.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No shower happy hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I brought Hawaiian shirts for everyone to wear.
Diego put it on.
Yeah, dude, that's how I knew you were awesome, because you were
It was like super tight.
Right. He put it on. Yeah, that was right, because I brought the Hawaiian shirts and no one was putting them on, and I had never met Diego before, and Diego was just like, I'll do it. And I was like, my guy. And so I think we took a picture with each other right away. I was like, I'm getting a picture with this guy. Shoot, I'm throwing that up there because one of these days we'll upgrade this podcast so I can throw a screen behind me. But in the meantime, we will not do that. That was April of 22.
That was April?
Yes, it had to be. Yep, because here's me dressed as Steve Aoki.
Shut up. Yep, that's how I know.
Yeah, dude. Oh, and I had a mustache and long hair.
Let's go.
Come on.
Yeah, you can kind of see that. But yeah, that was the birth of a beautiful friendship right there. Shoot, I'm screenshotting that so it's closer to the top so I can look at that some more.
You just favorite it. Oh, I just found it too.
Nice.
Amazing.
But yeah, and so we started hanging out more, and ended up getting really close. And the one time you guys came over and we were all playing Mario Kart, and you and Tay, Lauren, my wife, were playing, and Diego and I smoked a stogie outside, and we were just talking about life, and I remember as we were talking, because I knew you pretty well at that point. We had spent a lot of time together, but I remember just some of the conversations we were having just about life and how you thought about things, and family history and stuff. And I was like, this dude is awesome, because I already loved Lauren. I spent more time with Lauren and Haley than I did with anyone else, because I didn't have any family in North Carolina. Probably, I mean, I lived with Tay at the time, obviously. But I mean, next to Tay, I probably spent more time with you and Haley than anyone. Haley was our studio manager.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of love for you already, because we were clowning all the time together. But that, yeah. So that night, I remember talking to Diego. I was like, "Yep, this is the guy. This is the guy right here. This is my dog." And so, so yeah, I just wanted to give a little bit of that background. So these are not just two random people that I'm going on a trip with. These are people that I really care about and love a lot. And so, and that's I mean that's why cute. That's why we're doing this, right? Doing it with people that we care about.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that either of you two wanted to bring up with regards to the organization, the trip, anything that you feel like we didn't cover? Because I just want to make sure that you feel like we talked about everything that you wanted to explain, as far as a little Seb Strong expose.
No, it was great. I think you can just share your page, Jake. I think your viewers would be very. Well, I mean, I guess maybe we didn't really. Sometimes we did, but on your page you kind of speak about why you're kayaking, and so I think it's nice for people to kind of. I mean, we heard why we do it, and you spoke a little bit to why you're doing it this year. And I'm sure if you just direct people to your page where they can donate under your name.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They'll see your story.
Yeah, I'll definitely throw the link to my page. I'll put it in the Spotify. I'll put it on the Fowler and Friends Instagram. All the posts. Yeah, Spotify bitches. Listen, we're legit operation.
My
Look at this whitewashed wall.
No, he's gonna edit it.
Okay. Let me sound good.
What am I editing?
This thing.
Yeah, but what do you want? Did you want me to edit something out?
Raw on Spotify?
No, he's gonna edit it.
Okay.
The only small thing I wanted to add is just the Sebastian Strong Instagram. It's at Seb Strong, so it's SEBSS.
Dude, I don't even follow it. Hold on, how fake of me.
Follow it, and then that's where all of your Fowler
$20,000.
Yeah, 30,000 now. I'm up.
All of your Fowler and Friends followers need to follow them to then keep up with, the progression of the week and updates and all that kind of stuff. Another really cool thing that I just want to mention too is on the day of landing, the kayakers land about like a mile-ish out from the final landing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, I want to say, it depends on the year. Last year, I want to say we had like 5 or 6. We had 4 children who are currently living with cancer or have recently, overcome parts of it. But yeah, so basically the kayakers will land about a mile out from the final landing spot, and they'll hop in their boats and get to do that last part of the kayak with them. So that's really special.
Nice.
They get to get on the water with them, and then when the kayakers do that final landing, it's just this big celebration. The kids get out of the boats, take some pictures, spray some champagne, and then we just have like a big old pool party, basically.
Awesome.
Apple juice.
No, there's champagne, but the children have
Sprite. They have Sprite.
Or Sprite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
don't drink alcohol, kids.
That's another just fun way to end the trip. So
I love it. I am so excited. So obviously, like, as we get closer, I've been getting more excited. And then I've been at my Orange Theory studio. I've been just talking about it in my classes and stuff. And, people are getting pretty stoked. And like first I start with like the why, like what is the purpose, and then I tell them what we're doing, and everyone's just like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah, so
that's
don't
great.
complain about your 2,000 meter row.
Right, exactly. And so like talking about it more as we get closer has been really exciting, and just got the ticket the other day, has been really exciting. And
When are you landing?
Yeah, what time do you land on
oh
Saturday?
God, let's take a gander here.
We'll
I
pick you up.
think it's like 3 p.m.
Oh, perf.
Yeah, it's definitely in the afternoon.
On Saturday?
Yes.
Okay.
Sweet.
We'll pick you up.
Nice.
We literally live 10 minutes from the airport, so.
Oh, gas ahoy. Sorry.
We shall pick you up.
Yeah. I can't see the email right now. Oh wait, here we go.
3 a.m.
No.
We will not be picking you up.
3:07
p.m.
3:07 p.m. Yes, because my phone's in military time. So
May 11th?
yes, May 11th.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll be cruising in. I've never been to Miami, so I have no idea what to expect. I'll probably watch Too Fast, Too Furious beforehand because it's set in Miami.
Oh my
so
gosh,
I can get an accurate depiction.
With Will Smith.
No, that's Fast and Furious is like the car.
I know.
Oh, Bad Boys?
Yeah.
That new
Yes,
one?
Bad Boys is in Miami.
I don't know when that new one's getting released, but they just filmed that one in Miami, yeah.
The most recent Bad Boys.
Yeah, there's a 4th one coming out.
Yeah, that's also because I think the first one was in Miami,
Mhm.
and then this new one was shot in Miami.
Hmm.
But anyways, we'll give you a quick tour, however.
Get you
best
some
we
Cuban
can.
food,
We'll
some
get you
pastries.
Good food.
Yo, I got an awesome Cuban when I went to Key West.
Cuban
Key West for what? What are
He
you
said,
laughing?
He said, I've got an awesome Cuban.
I said I've got one. Oh,
Cuban, like a Cuban.
I do not. I do not. I had a Cuban sandwich in Key West.
So good.
Gas.
Oh, it was straight fire. Because dude, they had one at Panera. Like, I worked at Panera for 3 years, and so like that was what I thought a Cuban was. I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. And then that was like the first thing I got in Key West, and I was like, oh my.
No,
God.
we'll get you right. We'll get you right.
Get you right.
Yeah.
We'll show you the town we grew up in.
Dude, Stoke City, Utah. Awesome. Well, cool. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug any social media sort of thing? Lauren, you already did your thing. You already plugged the Sebastian Strong thing, so I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Awesome.
Those are the main ones.
Cool. Well, hey, thank you both for doing this so much. I think if I hit stop recording on this, it'll stop recording, but we won't leave, so then we can actually say goodbye.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Later, y'all.
Later.
Thanks.